Gooley where it is. The Westspeed Platinum Handicap over 1,200 metres, a relatively new initiative that sees these races exclusively for Westspeed Platinum horses, but it's a really interesting race here, Scott, because we see the return of Mr. Genoa. Of course, this horse was previously in the care of Adam Durant, got sold for a very, very large sum over East, and now finds himself in the care of Luke Fernie here in the Goldfields.
Certainly was a big sum, Britt. I believe it was somewhere around the $400,000 mark, and now he returns here to Kalgoorlie. He went through a sale, and I can tell you what, they didn't pay anywhere near that amount of money to bring him back here, and he's now got new connections with Luke Fernie's team who's flying, and most interestingly, it's blinkers on first time. And
he bought this horse at the same sale as he did Zeeble. Well, Crashane, we saw how well Zeeble went on Thursday. Can Mr. Genoa follow in the footsteps of the stablemate?
Well, you've got this live. It's been blowing Mr. Genoa's been blowing Zeeble off the tracks during track work. So, is that any guide?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, he's a well-built, strong-looking type too in the yard as well. So, look, he's got a lot of class, but he's got some niggling problems as well.
All right, let's take a closer look at this field. And the first horse is Smart Fox for Adam Durant. Molly Clark claims 3.
Does 57 kilos after that claim. 2 starts over the 1,200 metres. Hasn't shown a lot. It has been probably pigeonholed as a 1,000-metre horse, but that being said, Smart Fox should get a very, very good run here behind the speedy Nemiroff.
Nemiroff is that next horse we will look at. He is the 2 for Peter Fernie and Mitch Pateman.
Very hard to catch, as is Mervyn, who got caught in the previous race, but I think Nemiroff will roll again out in front. As Mitch Pateman did last start, beat Truth and Lies by 2.5 lengths, had them all beaten on the home corner. Nemiroff was simply in a different postcode at the top of the home straight. So Nemiroff hard to beat, 59 kilos on his back.
Arnie's Boy is the next horse, the 3 for Ash Maley, and Jade McNaught claiming 2.
He's been a nice acquisition. He was once with, I believe, Reece Radford. He then joined the Ash Maley yard and really went through his grades last prep. He won a Class 1. He then was competitive in graduation 60 pluses and even a 64 plus, beaten 3.5 by Leading Girl. Might find the 1,200 metres a little bit too sharp, looking for a bit further, but a nice horse.
Mr. Genoa, here he is, the 4 horse that we spoke about in the prelude. Big, strong horse. Blinkers go on. Luke Fernie, William Pike.
Very, very interesting horse here. Britt won his Northern Maiden stylishly, was then sold over East. He was backed very, very hard on a number of occasions. 5th of 5 and 9th of 9 in his 2 starts at Bendigo. He was then tipped out. He won a race first up when he was again well supported and then didn't beat a horse home at Caulfield. Luke Fernie puts the blinkers on first time. He's going to be the one that is the most intriguing runner, definitely, in this race.
Yeah, certainly is, as William Pike is about to be legged aboard. We'll get a nice close look at Mr. Genoa. Fairtrusive is the next horse, the 5 for Rod Brown, Kiri Yule.
Went to a 1,400 last start, beat this or that by a nose, drops again back to 1,200 here, draws a nice alley, should be thereabouts in the finish.
Watto's Fury, the 6, Rod Brown and Chris Parnham.
Backs up off 2 days, did go around on Thursday. Chris Parnham drawn an outside gate, has been racing on speed. He's probably going to be up against it to find a position in running, so what he might have to do is simply slide across to sit outside of Nemiroff.
Yes, and I see a number of horses on this very, very quick backup. Heron Sand is the next horse, the 7. Open 26 out to 61, so unwanted by the market for Jaden Thomas and Lucy Warwick.
Certainly he is. Just watching Mitch Pateman there with Nemiroff, he's in a pretty bad mood, so hopefully when he gets around to the gates he might cool off a little bit. Heron Sand joined Jaden Thomas's stable, middle of the preparation, hasn't shown enough in my opinion, dropping back from a mile here to 1,200.
And we saw Fairtrusive as Kiri Yule went out on the track as well, was pretty fresh, so a number of these gallopers they're just a little on their toe as they head out onto the track. The final runner is a Tractor, the 8 for Dion Luciani and Brad Parnham, who just, it will be 55 kilos today.
Okay, it's half a kilo over Brad Parnham. That's good knowledge there. For us to be average form, beaten 5 lengths first up, probably looking for a little bit further in my opinion and up against it in this field.
All right, what are your top 4 selections here, Scotty?
2, 4, 5, 6, Britt. I'm going with Nemiroff. It's another leader I think can kick away on the corner. From 4, Mr. Genoa, all eyes will be on him, and he looks a very, very nice horse in the yard. 5, Fairtrusive, and then the 6 off the quick backup, Watto's Fury. 2, 4, 5, 6.
All right, Scott with Nemiroff probably siding a little bit with that more exposed form, but certainly can't knock the looks of Mr. Genoa as he returns back here to the west for Luke Fernie now. Crashane, who took your eye from the yard?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as Scott in this race for Brittany. Nemiroff looked really well in the coat. He's a chestnut. I think he's been trained on the fresh side because he was really headstrong, and we haven't seen that from him up here this season. But obviously the short course, don't mind them when they're on the short distance races if they are on their toes and pretty alert and ready to go. Longer distance it may have been a query, but yeah, something different, a bit of a different attribute from Nemiroff today, being headstrong. I think he'll really start to open them up as they work down the Charles Street at the 800 from there and really get rolling. That's how he sort of runs his races, and I think he might be too sharp for them at the 1200, and again he should dominate from the front again. Just with this Westerly, we just saw in the last race that Pike was able to come off the leader's heels in the home turn and run down the favourite Mervyn, but probably both been given every chance. So, but again, we just haven't seen them make up real good ground. I think the one that was out wide in that race, Viking Forest, sort of loomed up, and but the others just sort of kicked back underneath of it, and again we're just too sharp. Would have to run an almighty sectional to get over the top of the others. So
well, I think that's one of the big points, isn't it, is the fact that they were only just outside of track record time. Well, that track record was set in the 1980s, so it's been a long-standing track record as well, and to see them get very, very close to that record, it means that the track it's fast, and invariably when we do have fast tracks, it makes it difficult to make up ground. With that being said, this race is a little bit different in the sense that we knew that Mervyn would be pretty uncontested for that speed. He rolls along at his own pace, and that is fast. But in here, I think there'll be a fair challenge for this lead. There's a number of horses here that you would imagine will be wanting to roll forward. So they could really clap the speed on here.
Yeah, I thought Nemiroff will be a clear-cut leader in this, and yes, you're quite right. There might be a little bit of speed underneath of him and to the outside. Look, I think Mr. Genoa is the unknown horse in the race, the former Victorian. I've just got reserves on him today. I just want to watch him go around first up in the state, just with those teething issues on the track and that. And look, he's got an enormous amount of ability and class, but if it came through and shone today, and he's 100% sound, he could blow these away. So it's just a watch on Mr. Genoa. No knock on him, but he looked really good in the yard, and he's a strong looking type. But I think just Nemiroff would be the safe way to go with pick of the yard out of race number 4, number 2 Nemiroff.
Yeah, Nemiroff, the one with exposed form. We're just seeing them trotting up. It looks as though it's Watto's Fury. Obviously the horse did race on Thursday, finished second in a 10-horse field, beaten 3.5 lengths on that occasion, and Chris Parnham's being legged back aboard now, so the vet may have just had a quick look. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but it all looks like it's all systems go, because Chris Parnham is back in the saddle of Watto's Fury. Perhaps just making sure that the horse was A-OK, given that it's only started 2 days ago. It's a quick, very quick backup for a number of these horses who are competing that backup here today, and Watto's Fury is one of those. And again, from the yard, it is unanimous here, Nemiroff, but I think there is this big watch on Mr. Genoa. It's the unknown horse here, and we're not really sure exactly what to make of this horse, Mr. Genoa Scott, who, of course, we last saw at Caulfield, and blinkers go on here. It makes it difficult to know how to assess him.
Certainly is, Britt. I mean, we've always talked about blinkers on a Blackfriars. It's normally a recipe for cash, and that's what he is here. And we have seen him before. I mean, obviously, he won effortlessly on debut in his Northern Maiden. It was a very, very impressive win. So I'm 2, 4, 5, 6, 2 Nemiroff from 4 Mr. Genoa, 5 Fairtrusive, and 6 Watto's Fury, who was just past fit behind the gates in a vet's examination. 2, 4, 5, 6, but definitely all eyes are on Mr. Genoa, who looks an absolute treat.
Yes, he certainly does. A very big, strong type. All right, we'll hand you up to Darren for his call of the 4th.
Thanks, Brittany. As runners start to file into the gates, Arnie's Boy goes up, and Smart Fox being led in. Watto's Fury past fit to go here. Chris Parnham just asking the question of the vet to have a look at the horse on arrival at the start. Heron Sand about to move forward, waiting as well for Fairtrusive to join them. Mr. Genoa and Nemiroff is to come into the gates also. So Fair Trucive now boxed as Mr. Genoa back in the West. Won its maiden at Northern before heading to Victoria. And now with Luke Fernie. Last to come along is Nemiroff. Red lights have now been switched on and they're about to break. Stand by for a start. Racing. Not a bad line out. Smart Fox actually the first to get going from Arnie's boy. Nemiroff is having to be used up to be there on speed early. And Mr. Genoa is going to push up underneath of it as well after the start. And also driving up there Fair Trucive. Right behind those Heron Sand, dropping back Watto's Fury. And back last on the inside at the 850 is Tractor. Smart Fox led them out to the side of the course and held to sway by about a neck on Nemiroff, with Mr. Genoa pushing up in the middle to hold Nemiroff 3 deep. 2 lengths behind them to Arnie's boy, followed by Fair Trucive. Off its heels going up there 3 wide is Heron Sand. Watto's Fury, and still back last of all but in a tightly bunched field is Tractor. They're about to set sail at the 400 mark. On the inside Smart Fox with a tendency to want to hang leads the way. Mr. Genoa goes up quickly from Fair Trucive. Now Nemiroff had dropped off. Nemiroff looked an absolute shot duck as Pike reaches the lead on Mr. Genoa. Down the outside is Heron Sand, followed by Watto's Fury. Inside the 150 it's Mr. Genoa out clearly in front. Mr. Genoa draws away. Here's another one for the Wizard coming up. Thank you very much. Back in the West, back with a win. Mr. Genoa beat Heron Sand, Watto's Fury. Arnie's boy was next home from Smart Fox, Fair Trucive, Tractor, and something might be amiss with Nemiroff, who has pulled up very abruptly and is at the tail end of proceedings. It's Mr. Genoa. Back in WA, number 4, Mr. Genoa. William Pike with 3 of the first 4 on the program. And he's making this race round a carnival all of his own. Luke Fernie has done it with Mr. Genoa. Nemiroff, trained from the same establishment, off its game, worked very hard and capitulated badly. Coming onto the home corner, Mitch Pateman just easing it down late in the race. Mr. Genoa holds Heron Sand at bay, the roughie. Wow, that would have been something. Runs on into second placing. Third, number 6, Watto's Fury, Chris Parnham. And Arnie's boy finished in 4th place ahead of Smart Fox, who wanted to hang a bit coming onto the home corner. 3 1/4 by a long neck. It's been a big win by Mr. Genoa. High priced horse who is by Blackfriars and out of Jean. Won a maiden at Northam back in August of 2018. Sold on, went to Victoria, sold back to WA Connections, and has returned home with a victory. For Luke Fernie, Grant Burns, C. Gill, D. Hanson, Neil Gill, Carol Warwick, Brett Turner, Dr. Brent Hunt, and also D.E. Martin. Trained by Luke Fernie at Campana Lodge. He's had a great week, Luke. Produced Zeeble with a devastating first up win on Thursday, and now here with Mr. Genoa. Number 7, Heron Sand by My Admiration from Red Sand. Second, Jaden Thomas, Lucy Warwick. And third, number 6, Watto's Fury by So Secret from Liberty Isle, Rod Brown, Chris Parnham. And the time 109.82 is just outside the 06 record of Christabel, 109.82 on a track that's on fire. 34.86 the closing 600 metre sectional. A big win by Mr. Genoa, who set sail for home, set up the break, and they never looked like getting within a bull's roar of him. The 5th event, the Coates Handicap, is next. 1100 is the journey at 2:52, and there are no alterations to the next of the day. Let's go back down now into the yard, and we'll get there soon. Now something's amiss here with Mr. Genoa. Pike has unsaddled the horse over here at the 1600 metre mark. So there's a postscript here to this victory of Mr. Genoa, and something amiss William Pike over there with officials. He's unsaddled the horse, and there's another rider down, in fact, over there. I just can't see who that is at the moment. Is it Molly Clark, the rider of Smart Fox? Molly Clark is on the deck at the moment at the 1600. William Pike dismounted from Mr. Genoa and unsaddled the horse over there at the same point. So there is an unfolding story after the running of this race. Molly Clark down there, and she's with St. John's paramedics. Not sure what actually has happened there. Luke Fernie's gone down to lead Mr. Genoa back. We'll get news on what's unfolding. Stand by. Now, Mr. Genoa has stumbled after winning the race and fallen, and Molly Clark, who was directly behind it with Smart Fox, had nowhere to go but over the top, and so she got dislodged, but she's conscious from all accounts, talking with the paramedics. And in the meantime, Mr. Genoa, the winner of the event, is being led back